Welcome to Coach's Corner, everyone. Thanks for watching the show. I'm your host, Coach Tripp, former player and coach myself, high school, Kerry Goode and Faithful Servant. That's right, every Monday night I do with my old teammate, Kerry Goode. We deep dive into his book, Goode and Faithful Servant, Goode, Goode and Faithful Servant. He wrote it a few years ago, and we take it chapter by chapter. Sometimes we talk about 2 or 3 chapters. Sometimes, like tonight, we're just going to talk about one chapter. That's right. This episode is brought to you by Ronnie's Car Wash. Make sure to get all your cars and trucks washed by Ronnie's Car Wash. We're going to deep dive into this. Actually, Kerry has an opening this week, so we'll listen to him before we give you the subject of the night.
Hello, radio and internet audiences. I hope this message finds you all well and basking in the glow of a joyful 4th of July weekend. Whether you spent it surrounded by family, flipping burgers, watching fireworks light up the sky, or simply soaking in a quiet moment of peace, I pray that it was filled with the pleasure and pride that Independence Day brings. This celebration reminds us not just of freedoms won, but of the strength we hold in community, resilience, and the right to dream boldly. May the spirit of independence continue to inspire you not just on July 4th, but every day you rise to meet life with courage and purpose. Thanks for tuning in and being part of this moment. Let's keep the flame of connection and freedom burning bright.
All right, let's do that, Kerry. Thanks for that opening. Kerry Goode, as you may well know, has ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. They gave him 2 to 4 years. I think he's on year 11. And he is totally handicapped, has need breathing tube to help him breathe, cannot eat or talk. He cannot talk. He lost his voice a couple years ago, but with AI technology, he thinks his words and answers into the computer and he'll spit it out in his own voice. Yeah, thank God for that. We've been waiting about a year to do this show. And I guess we've been doing it about 8-10 months now. Time flies. These are all in Kerry's words. So we're going to deep dive into one chapter tonight. It's called Rich and Poor, day 84 in his book, because he divides his chapters up in the days, about 196 days. So let's get going. These are all in Kerry's words. And then I just ask the questions at the end. So let's get going. Hope you enjoy it. In my lifetime, Kerry says, I experienced both poverty and luxury. Compared to some people, my life is comfortable, but compared to others, I have nothing. As an NFL player, I was what most considered rich. But a divorce and a loss of job sent me crashing down to earth once again. And just as I gained a comfortable life, I was diagnosed with ALS. It has not only taken away my ability to walk, talk, and care for myself, but it has also left me with no benefits or savings. Being poor is hard. You struggle at times to make ends meet. You have to do without basic things that others consider necessities. Most people think that being broke is the worst and there couldn't be any advantage. But here are a few things I've learned during my roller coaster ride. When you are poor, you learn to make do with what you have. You also know how to do without. When you are poor, you do not feel the need to keep up with the Joneses. The biggest advantage is that handling adversity will make you much stronger. However, wealth is often considered to be a negative because it can become an idol that acts as a barrier between people and God. Somehow we forget these possessions are only temporary and lose focus on what is eternal. But take heart. On their deathbeds, people notoriously discount the wealth they have amassed. And instead, they look back at the relationships and remember the small, priceless moments, even after an entire life spent buying things and chasing bucks. All that really matters in the end is who you loved. Don't work yourself to death. Just go to hell. Wow, Kerry. Those strong words, they're so true, so elegantly put. My first question for you tonight is, Kerry, let's dissect this chapter a little bit more. Like yourself, I have been NFL rich and poor. When I was rich, it was all about more stats, more work, more car, more booze, more women, more everything. Everything. More house, more neighborhood, more status, etc. When I was poor, it was more about God and love and being grounded and actually finding purpose and helping others. What do you think about perspective shifts, Carrie?
Sure, I've lived both sides of the coin. In one hand, I held NFL stardom, the title, the checks, the lifestyle that people dream of, but rarely understand. At that time, folks saw me as rich, but behind the scenes, life was moving fast, and loss was faster. Being divorced, a job gone, and else knocking at my door. It didn't just challenge me, it changed everything. Being poor isn't just about empty pockets. It's about making decisions between necessities, learning to stretch blessings into abundance, and finding strength where most see only weakness. I've lived the truth that being broke teaches resilience. You make do, and often you make magic with the little you got. It humbles you. It breaks down the illusion that stuff equals status, and it roots you deeper in gratitude. But the biggest perspective shift came with ALS. My body changed, my walk, my speech, my independence taken, but my vision became clearer than ever. The kind of wealth I used to chase now seems like noise. What once felt necessary is now non-essential. I've learned that God does not measure us by what we collect, but by how we connect. Adversity prunes what's superficial and reveals what's sacred. When you're stripped of everything but your breath and your spirit, you discover that love, compassion, and faith are life's true luxuries. Yes, riches gave me opportunities, poverty gave me clarity, and ALS, though relentless, gave me a new lens on grace. So to my brother in shared struggle, I hear you. When we were rich, it was more of everything. When we were poor, it became more of what really matters. And I choose that every time. Let's keep dissecting that chapter tonight. There's more strength in this dialogue than in any dollar.
There's more strength in this dialogue than any dollar. Oh my gosh. We're here to connect, not collect, he says. Being broke teaches us resilience. It humbles you. It makes stuff equal status. Stuff doesn't equal status, he says. It routes you deeper in gratitude. There's a big one. It routes you deeper in gratitude. Wow, all that being poor, maybe more can learn from being poor than being rich. All right, here's question number 2, KG. If someone says to you, quote, I'd rather have money than love, what would you say to them?
Probably lean in and say something like, well, you'll definitely be able to pay for dinner, but you might be eating alone, definitely with extra napkins and no one to split dessert with. Look, money's great. It opens doors, buys snacks, and solves problems like, where should we vacation this year? But love is what makes walking through those doors feel like more than just a transaction. When I was cash rich, I still felt connection poor. But when the dollars dried up, the ones who stuck around reminded me that true wealth does not come with a price tag. Being broke, oh, came with perks, like the best unpaid audit ever, a thorough weeding out of fake friends. Trust me, when you don't have anything to offer but yourself, you quickly find out who actually likes you, and not just your barbecue budget. That kind of clarity is better than any savings account. Sure, money buys comfort, but love builds legacy. One fades faster than a cheap cologne, and the other, that stays in people's hearts long after you're gone. And if joy could be grilled, mine would be served medium rare, with a big old laugh on the side. Because even now, ALS has swiped my health, my wealth, and a few too many abilities, but it can't touch my joy. It cannot cancel my spirit. I'm somehow the happiest I've ever been, on life's tightest budget. So when someone says they'd rather have money than love, I just smile and say, love does not just make life richer, it makes it worth the price of admission.
Holy cow, Gary, you got away with words, man. That's beautifully said. Weeding out fake friends and people. Man. Sure, money buys comfort, but love builds legacy. Think about that. Love doesn't just make life richer, but it's worth the price of admission. Wow. Wise words indeed, Carrie. All right, here's my last question of the night on this same chapter. We're talking about rich and poor, as Carrie and I both have been both. Let's see here. Carrie, please reiterate the last two paragraphs of this chapter. There is no luggage rack on a hearse. The Bible says build up treasures of the heart, not about things. What about this subject, Carrie?
Let's face it, no matter how fancy your ride to the graveyard is, it's not coming with a luggage rack, and there's definitely no U-Haul trailing behind it. That last road trip is one way, with zero carry-on. All those trophies, toys, luxury houses, and shiny cars left behind like yesterday's potato salad, questionable and definitely not coming with you. I remember my doctor saying to me, you should get your affairs in order. And I remember thinking, affairs? Do I even have a filing cabinet? Turns out I did, and I emptied it. What actually mattered got passed down to my kids faster than a hot plate at a family reunion. I stripped down to the essentials. No bling, no baggage, just blessings. What really travels with you beyond this life? Not your jewelry collection, not your kitchen gadgets, and certainly not that questionable velvet tracksuit. What does make the trip? Faith, love, compassion, and how deeply you made people feel. Legacy isn't about loot, it's about heart. The good book tells us, store up treasures in heaven, not rust prone, moth bitten, garage clutter that won't even sell at a yard sale. When the final buzzer goes off, they're not counting your square footage or your bank balance. They're replaying your highlight reel of kindness, grace, and that one magical barbecue sauce that had folks asking if it was divine intervention. So stop chasing closet space and start chasing soul space. Fill up hearts, reach out hugs, and if you've still got those secret recipes locked away, go ahead and release them one more time to the people, because heaven will have the best food imaginable, or you will be the only thing cooking in hell. God's well done is a lot different than well done in hell.
Wow, beautifully said, Carrie. Legacy isn't about loot, it's about the heart. So stop chasing closet space and chase soul space, he says. Wow, there's nothing more. There is more strength in this dialogue than any dollar. Wise words, Carrie. Man, well, thanks for a great show. This is one of my favorite shows. Maybe it'll turn some people around on perspective, look for gratitude, purpose, and thank God for everything. All right. As Carrie has been doing, he's going to sum up the show.
So someone says, you'd rather have money than love, and you just smile and hand them a napkin, because sure, they can buy dinner, but they'll be eating it solo in the VIP section of loneliness. You've been rich, you've been broke, and you've tasted life served hot, cold, and with extra spice. Rich came with big stats, fancy stuff, and a whole menu of distractions. Broke came with clarity, loyalty, and the finest friend filtered known to man. If love were currency, your account was overflowing. An ALS rolled in like the IRS of your body and bank account, auditing everything from your savings to your swagger. But what it didn't take was your joy, your grit, or your appetite for living. You were the happiest barbecue philosopher the South's ever seen, proving that mustard sauce, good company, and the grateful soul are the true treasures of this life. So let folks chase after their dollar signs. You'll be here slow cooking legacies, flipping relationships like ribs, and seasoning every conversation with wisdom hotter than a Memphis dry rub. And as for me, well, I may not have riches, but I've got love, laughter, and legacy and baby. That makes me wealthier than I've ever been.
Wow. Unbelievable. Great stuff, Carrie. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Episode 29. That's right. It's about rich and poor. Share it, like it, and thanks for watching the show. Hope you got something out of it. Have a great week, everybody, and stay tuned for these messages. Without these great sponsors, this show just wouldn't be possible. So long, everybody.
Arbitrium Consulting for all your fencing, landscaping, pressure washing, tree trimming needs. Call 850-483-0350 for your free estimates. Serving Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, Destin, Perdido, Gulf Shores, Foley, and the entire Gulf Coast. Arbitrium Consulting is owner-operated, fully licensed and insured. Call today, 850-483-0350, the official landscaper of Coach's Corner.
For 30 years, you have seen the Orange Beck signs all over the Gulf Coast listing a property for sale or lease.
Beck Partners is your trusted advisor in commercial real estate, property management, commercial and personal insurance. Senior Vice President David Valletto has been with Beck Partners since 1989. Take advantage of his wealth of knowledge by calling him today at 982-7352. 982-7352. Extensive experience in all aspects of leasing, sales, management, and site selection will make sure your expectations are exceeded.
My name is Steve Reynolds. I'm the manager and owner of Cordova Lanes, and we help keep your mind out of the gutter. Cordova Lanes is part of the community of Pensacola. Being here for 43 years, we've entertained more people than any other bowling center in the city. We sell fun for a living. Cordova Lanes is located at 2111 Airport Boulevard in Pensacola, behind Cordova Mall. Come on out and see us at Cordova Lanes Bowling Center. Thank you.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on your home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Will Rentschler is your go-to agent in Pensacola, Florida for the service you deserve at the price that you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Will Rentschler has you covered. Call 850-433-4678 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Legal disclaimer, individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.